because I do not know how to do any of this.
Come on now. Come on, Sarah. Come on, baby. Well, you know what? You're doing it. That's like what we just talked about, which we didn't talk about yet, is that you're just doing it. You know, and that's more than most people do.
Yeah, and that part for me is the hard part to figure out, because
I'm telling you,
there's
though,
no
man, you gotta
way.
be everything. You gotta be absolutely everything, right? You gotta be able to be a videographer, and now you gotta be an editor, and like the lighting and coloring it, and
Yeah. And you
So
have
hard.
to be absolutely crazy to continue. See, we say this all the time. We're like, we are mad because of all of this work and energy and pouring into something that you don't even know is gonna like be not even successful but work
Yeah.
for us and people, something we'll be proud of, that you just keep pouring yourself into it. Like, it's a sickness. You have to keep creating and you have to keep trying because you're afflicted with it.
Yeah.
Because if we weren't, oh man, we could be accountants, we could be like just 9 to 5 day
if
jobs.
I had any, if I had any like hard skills or talents
hard
that
talent.
would make money, you know, but all of my skills and talents have to do
Soft
with
skills.
or soft skills
Yeah.
or have to do with making art.
Yeah.
That's, you know what? I'm gonna leave all of this in right now, and I'm gonna welcome back to the Alternative Highs podcast, the #1 podcast in southwestern Ontario.
Hoot hoot, hoot hoot.
This is take 2 because of my inability to keep the record button going, I guess.
That's showbiz, kids. That's
Yeah.
showbiz. It's all right.
But today's guests are locals. They are big in our community. They've built a really cool scene and community for themselves, and recently filmed a TV show here in our community. It is the Deep Southwest.
It's just our band name, Deep Southwest.
Deep Southwest. And tell me about that project.
Sure. So, Deep Southwest is a 5-part TV series that will be released on Bell 5 TV1 this spring. So it'll be in March or in April. We're not quite sure of the release date yet, but it follows the band, a heightened version of Pat and Meg, as they try to make it into the coveted Hawaiian Pizza Festival here in Chatham. Because as you know, the Hawaiian pizza was invented here in Chatham. So they meet some Gen Xers that say, you can only perform if you have 10,000 plus followers. So the band goes on these misadventures to try to gain those followers in their small community.
Wild that it is a follower-based situation.
Yes, yeah.
I didn't ask this, but what does that do to yourself? Does it bother you when you get told that? Like, does it like how do I get to the?
In the show, no, it doesn't bother them
Oh,
at all. They
the-
think that they're invincible and they can do it. They can make it. You know,
Yeah.
they've got the goods.
An invincible optimism.
Yes,
Okay.
which makes it a comedy show.
Yeah.
And what leads you to do all this, to build this show here?
Well, first up, we had an opportunity by Bell 5 TV1. They were looking to fund a series in our area. And we met with someone at the municipality that said, hey, they're looking for, you know, someone in the arts. And so I got in touch with them and we put together a pitch deck, which included a musical comedy series, the 5-part, as I said, that has 2 original songs in it per episode that Pat has had created. And we pitched them, and they liked our crazy idea.
Yeah.
And they gave us money to do it.
We initially pitched it as we sat down with one of the producers,
Yeah.
and we just started playing music for them in our cowboy hats in front of the camera. We played all our songs, and
Yeah.
she was just like, "What did she say?"
She said, well, this was the most interesting pitch I've ever watched. This was it. Okay, and then we break out in song, and this is the song. Da 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 da. And then, okay, and then it stops, and then this happens. And then we sing. And she was a little amiss, but, I mean, you know.
It
I
worked.
liked it.
It
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
And the final product, oh, I have to say, we are so proud of it.
It's really good. It really is. You know, there's a lot of times in a lot of projects, I'll kind of be like, you know, yeah, but this one, this is a really solid representation of who we are as artists and the music that we have created.
Yeah. And not only that, sorry to cut you off, go ahead.
No,
Oh.
no.
Not only that, but I do, and we truly believe it's because we utilized our community and everybody that we could possibly fit into this show
Yeah.
from our community is in this thing.
I was going to ask, using, because we have a we have a common interest in your producer. Is that what Ben's called?
Oh, well, he's not the producer, but he was our collaborator. So he did.
He's like the head of he's our editor and our camera department head.
Yeah, so he's director of photography, but I don't know if he likes that
If
title.
he likes that title or not, but it's
He's
really
done a lot.
He's
He
done
did a
yeah.
lot. So it's sort of the triangle of the three of us on this project.
And how long have you known Ben the whole time? Or did you just meet? Because I just knew to Ben myself. So.
Oh yeah, and he's such a great connector of the city.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, I know this person. I know this.
Yeah.
I know this. I know this. Do you need this?
Yeah.
He just wants to be.
He's gonna run for mayor someday. I
Yeah,
swear,
I feel like
swear.
that.
He has to.
No, we met him when we first moved back, so that was 11 years ago. And I was auditioning. I needed to put together a self-tape. In
Yep.
case you're not in the business, that means that places from afar, they say, we need you to tape something so we, like an audition.
Yep.
So now it's normal, but then it wasn't normal. So I needed a self-tape for the Neptune Theater, the one that Pat was in Halifax.
Dream.
Yeah.
The Dream. That was in take one, but we deleted it. So you're just going to have to catch up.
Catch up.
So we hired Ben to help us because
Yeah.
we didn't have like cool phones and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff back then. And the first time he met me was he turned on the camera, pressed record, and I did an interpretive dance to Toto's Africa.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's like, hi, my name's Megan. He's like, hi, my name's Megan.
That's funny.
So, yeah.
So,
And from there, we've been inseparable.
Yeah, we've
creatively.
done lots of different projects.
with Ben,
Absolutely, yeah.
he's such a great guy.
He is.
So before you guys get to Chatham, you guys are in Toronto. How does that bring you home?
So we met in Toronto and lived together in Toronto I was there for 8 years, so we were together for like
Yeah.
4 years.
No,
not
we
even
were
that.
together for 2. We both
Jeez.
separately lived in Toronto for 8 years,
Yep.
but then we met the final 2 years in Toronto.
And we were like dating for a month, decided to take a trip to Thailand, which was
It was a make or break.
it was make or break. We made it.
Yeah.
And then
Did we? Are we?
Yeah.
Are we good? Okay, are we good? Oh God. 14 years later, and he's like, not
But then
really.
we both decided to quit the business. We both decided that we weren't going to try to be professional artists anymore. That's not what we wanted to do. I got a job working in security, and I worked in nightclubs and like high-end security at TIFF and things like that. And I was working at a TIFF event, and I got a call from a guy who was like, "Hey, do you want to dance and sing in this show?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like, he's
Yeah.
like, "You'll get paid." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And it blew up. We ended up touring, and while I was touring, Meg came. Was coming and visiting here in Chatham.
My parents live here.
And I fly into Detroit and come visit in Chatham, and then
Yeah.
finally we were just like, what would it be like if we got a house?
Yeah. What would our lives be like without the subway, without the noise, without the chatter in our brains telling us that we're redundant if we're not on stage?
Yeah.
So we started
Yeah.
playing house and house hunting, and just seeing what was realistic. And we ended up getting rid of our apartment in Toronto, and we were like, oh, we could get a house for the same amount as the rent for that, like, basically bedroom
Yeah.
that we were living in.
Yeah.
And like, why would we not do this?
So you're local. You're not. How is that for you to come in, trying to build
Oh,
the
like
career?
a freight train, Pat came in here, busted down doors, and was like, "What up? I'm here."
You
I-
seem like
I
you
did.
fit into any situation that you're
Yes.
thrown into. But
Yes, you did, my darling.
Yeah, I think resilience is something that I take as a. But yeah, no, I came to Chatham and I just met. I honestly I went to the city and was just like who's who and made meetings with everybody just to see like what the city was like and what it was going to be like moving here and
Yeah.
what the industry was and.
Yeah, there was definitely no, like we're the type of people to create it. Like in the city, as an artist, as a creator of whatever you're creating, you have to be a go-getter, right? Like, because there's no set path. Like in Toronto, okay, you go and get an agent, then you do this, then you and there are kind of routes you go to achieve your goals. Here there aren't any real real roadmaps for it. You get to create your own adventure and figure it out,
That's a
but
really good
you
way to
have
put
to
it.
do it. That's the downside, is that in a city like that, there's more like, oh, this is the way, this is how I do this. Here, you
have to create it.
You got to create it.
That's why-
Look what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely, and you hear that, and I know off camera earlier we were talking about people questioning the community and sense of the communities and things like that.
Yep.
But that's why you live in a larger city, because it's just, if you have a weird niche idea or like, you know, you like video games, you can just go to a video game community and it's already going to be there.
Yep.
But if you know, like country music and you want to perform and do a show, you do have to create that, like Meg's saying.
And-
But that's what's cool, is you can.
And that we live in that area where building that community is fun, because the hip hop.
Yep.
How has that hit? Like, is it community fave? Because we are a lot of country and a lot of that hip hop.
Yeah. Well,
So-
tell the people at home what exactly we're talking about.
So-
Listen, take one.
Hip hop is like country, you know, bluegrass, hillbilly, down home music mixed with modern hip hop, and you smash those two things together, and it's like basically like rap, but thematically it's more down home country.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Like,
and Pat's a fantastic lyricist. It has taken years for him to realize this. I always say he's writing raps and he's like, isn't this funny? I said, honey, this is really good. He's like, yeah. And so finally on this project, he was able to put those songs in and realize those songs, record them, see them in music video form, all this kind of stuff. And I think you're just getting to the point where you're going, hey, I don't think I'm that bad at this. You know?
It's not so bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
takes
ain't
some
so
time.
bad.
so to go back again, where does, like, you guys both went to school. You went to the what schools did we both? Did you both go to the same, or?
No, go ahead. Huh?
So I went to school. I was in Halifax thinking about going to Dalhousie for theater, but then, like I was saying earlier, I went to the Neptune Theater, which is like the big theater in Halifax, and I asked them where they were hiring all of their actors from. And they said, oh, most of our actors are hired out of Toronto. So I said, oh, well, why would I go to school here if everybody's getting hired from Toronto?
Yeah.
So I went to school where I wanted to build my community, which was in Toronto. So I went to a school called the Randolph School for the Arts, which was a triple threat program. So not only did I want to do singing and acting, which is what I wanted to do, I also learned how to dance.
Lord of the dance.
Which was
Lord, give us a step. Remove thy Chad. Give us a step now, please.
bagpipes. Do some river dance.
I love it.
Yeah, and then I went to University of Western in London, and then after that I went to Italy for a bit and sang some opera. It was a very classical program. Realized I didn't like being so confined in the operatic world, and went to Toronto and then just did musical theater, acting, whatever I could do that drew me in and was fun for me.
So, with all the talents that surround you two, where is
Is it called talent?
Well, I would assume
It's out of necessity.
you were noticed. You were liked. Everybody got behind the project.
Yes, yes.
So what part of your artistic skills do you love the best? Where do you like doing the most? Is it your singing? Is it the acting? Is it dancing?
There's no feeling like when a song comes together and it really like just like
Yes,
that. You
just
make that
like
sound.
wow.
Wow. That's like it's a high. You
Yeah.
know? That's like
Yeah.
They're so lovely today.
Yeah. They're just having a sister fight, so that's all.
happens.
So, as a songwriter, you really like it when that kind of culmination comes, like when it all fits.
It's everything around it, because in order to write, you have to have the time to write, you know, and having that time to yourself to just sit and let your thoughts free flow,
Yep.
and then having it actually come and having a product by the end of it is very gratifying.
Yeah, I love, because Pat writes the music. I write the scripts and put it all together. I love writing a script and then filming it on the day and going off the script.
Yeah.
Just freaking everybody out.
Yeah.
You know, adding things in so that we get honest reactions.
Okay.
Like if I hand you a script, okay, get from point A to point B, and don't go off on a tangent because you think it's funny, but go off on something that like makes sense.
That makes sense.
You know, that makes sense within the story, but let's play with it because you get these honest reactions and you get these really hidden gems that you would not normally find. That's what's exciting for me. So I do months and months of work, hand you something day of, and you come sort of prepared, and then we just kind of throw it out the window, and then we get something even better.
So, did you write the whole script for your show?
Yes, so I wrote the script. I had the idea of the overall arc. We had our director, one of our directors, Daniel Torres, he helped me on the last episode. So he rearranged the last episode,
Okay.
but I wrote all 5 episodes.
How hard is it to come up with 5? How long?
Well, they're not that long because they they bought about an hour's worth of content, so we could split it up any way we wanted
20-minute
to.
episodes?
Yeah, but we are giving them like an hour and 15.
Thereabouts.
Thereabouts, you know what, I don't
on
even
it, yeah.
know with the credits, yeah. So an hour and 15, so I can't tell you exactly which episode, what
But
is
it's
what,
still
but
a lot of content to
I
come up with.
can't
It is.
conceive of writing a dialogue.
Yeah.
I've tried, and I can't. That my brain does not work that way.
but I cannot conceive of sitting down and writing a song, and that's where you have
To,
this.
yeah.
I try to stay out of his lane, and he tries to stay out of my lane.
How hard is that as a couple when you work together, everything's done together, to stay out of that lane when you're like, well, maybe.
We have a thing that we say when we are working together, and it's if you have to say something difficult, you just say work mode,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then you say exactly what you're thinking, even if it's going to be abrasive.
Yeah.
And that just means that you can't take it as like we're not talking as husband and wife right now.
Yeah.
This is business time. This is a business conversation, and
That's
things
awesome.
need to get done.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you can just be like, okay, fair enough. Let's do that, and then move forward.
And like a lot of this project, because it is so story heavy, because it's an episodic story arc, a lot of it that falls on me. So this project, like Pat was like it's inception
I did
of
all
this
the work
whole project.
up to the start of filming.
Yeah, he did 2 years of writing music, not in anticipation of this project, but now that we're using everything. So he's had 2 years to do all of this. Now it's my thing. So if we're in the editing studio with Ben and they go, oh, I think this is, and I go, guys, I don't think so, because the story, it doesn't make sense. A lot of times, I mean, you can tell I'm a mild personality.
Meek, mild-mannered. Like
You can tell I just say, oh, whatever you want, sweetheart. But I'm a very strong personality.
I like that.
But especially on this project, I had such a huge, like, just clear vision for it, we fought a lot. Not you and I, but the three of
the
us.
three of us
And
have
then if
all
2
had
people say
strong
yes,
words with each other.
Yeah.
Then the third has to back down. And sometimes it's you and Ben, sometimes it's us, and he backs down. So it's nice to have a third person.
And I don't even know, did we give a little bit of the storyline for this?
I don't
In
know. Maybe it
the
was.
first one, I
I think we did. Yeah,
we did,
The
yeah.
second one.
I think we did, but just come see it. March 8th, we're having a premiere at the Capitol. Red carpet event, 6 p.m. Live music from the Long Lots. Did I already say this? Who
Let's
knows?
repeat
We
it.
don't know anymore.
Just say it again.
Just show up.
Big
Yeah.
after party at the River Rock. It's gonna be
Yeah.
lit.
You get to stream. You get to see all 5 episodes, musical comedy, and it's good. It's good.
You guys
It really
are
is.
so much fun.
Ooh, thanks.
This has been so much fun, and watching you guys and having to do a repeat. You guys are so. Is that the way it always is? Like, you guys are just so easy to deal with, and it's
I hope
I
so.
like to think so.
it's like
Don't comment.
I said this, but like, I really don't have that personality. I think that I could always be with one person working alongside, and it's so refreshing to see you two together, because you work together, you live together, you're always side by side, and you guys have that you guys have it. You guys crack me up the whole time. It's always jokes, it's always fun. It's not like, oh, watch how you say that. It's just roll with it, make it work.
Yeah, but we have a shorthand, right? Like we really, like our value system is the same. Our creativity is the same. Our humor is the same.
It's the same. You'll see that in the show. It's just it's so our humor, our unique sense of humor.
Yeah, and being a couple, we just fight really well together. But God is definitely my one true love's kiss. And whether we want to or not, some days we're in it for the long haul, because there are days that we're like,
it's work. We've worked really hard to be able to function at this level together on projects like this, and it hasn't always been easy and this synergistic. It's a lot of times before there's been a lot of fights, but like Meg says, we fight well. Yeah,
fights and tears, but you get dressed and you sit at the table and you talk to each other like adults when all you want to do is just tell them they smell and run away and punch them. Like you do the hard things. They're hard, but who cares? So do them, because it's for if you think it's worth it, it's worth it. I will battle Pat forever, because first off, that means I care about him. And I want this relationship to last, and that's number one. Regardless of how this show takes off or doesn't take off, or if it just lives on our shelf somewhere, doesn't matter.
But this show is a testament. It's a testament to the strength of our relationship. Like from all the stuff that's happened up to this point, and all the different ways we saw this project coming to life, to how to the actual doing it, and then how it will now have its own life to go on and mean whatever it means to other people.
And it's great. We did a private screening just for the crew that were involved, and we had Darren come and his wife Christine, and we had a couple investors come, and it was wonderful, because when you're sitting, the triangle are sitting there in the editing studio for 2 months, 3 months,
staring at the butt jokes, going, was that butt joke funny enough?
More fart noise, bigger. We're checking out farts, it's like, no, that one's not juicy enough. No, that one's too
long.
You think, oh God, no one's gonna get it, because it's so specific, right? You're like, well, it's just our relationship, how we feel about life. But then when we screened it, people really keyed into it, and they understood what it was truly about, which was this couple, finding their way in the world, and ultimately, hopefully, realizing that their community and who they are is good enough. You don't need all these random people subscribing to validate your art.
I love that. Is there more? Would you like to get more TV series? Would you like to do that more, or was that like
we're like too close to it right now, right? I think we'd be like
I was gonna say
I need at least 6 months off. I think yes, because we got to work with the most wonderful people. Shannon, Ben, Joe, Donnie, Daniel, Cam, all of these people Joe, we were able to work with our friends, and it really did feel like, I think Shannon said it, she said, this feels like a summer camp. If you've ever been to a band camp, I have, it feels like that. Whatever. I loved it. It feels like, you're all in it together, and you really are. You're making this thing, and you're all in it for a reason and a higher purpose. And if you pick the right people, then it can be a positive experience, and they're really in it for those reasons.
I love that.
And you get to pay them, and I love giving money to my friends. How great is that? I'm like, here you go.
Let me apply for you guys.
Definitely.
That's important. We've done enough free work that that's a big value of ours.
I was gonna say, how do you get to that? Because you did point that out the first interview. But how do you, because the way I would assume it is when you're asking somebody, you're like, this is a brand new thing, we're really trying, can you just come and help us out? And is there that expectation? Or did people just were they
Oh.
surprised when you tried
It's a
it?
Oh,
mixture.
no, we had a mix,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a mix of both. You know, there was our core crew that was there, the people who were doing sound, lights, camera, directing.
Every day, we're talking like the
People were
25
coming
days on
that
set.
were coming
we
there
were
12 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, those people were definitely
We paid them.
we paid them. And then there was, you know, like a lot of locations that people just willingly, and honestly, it was baffled how many people were just so open to letting us use their
Yeah.
spaces and being involved as extras
Yep.
and sitting around patiently.
And it was cold, you know,
Yeah.
but we were very upfront, you know, with the extras. We said, listen, you can come. There's nothing in it for you besides you might see yourself on screen. But they were excited,
Yeah.
you know. We had 3 days. Generously, the Sons of Kent gave us 3 days out back.
Wow.
He just gave us the space for 3 days, and we made the Hawaiian Pizza Festival, and we outfitted it. And then 50 to 60 extras just showed up, signed the waiver, and we were like, dance! And they danced, you know, just because they wanted to be a part of it.
That's so cool.
And it was so cool.
And it really made it, like, it took the production level and just, you know,
Yeah.
because these things could so easily just look like it's your backyard.
Yeah.
And it's your buddy, like Danny, who's going like, hey.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
community came and they came dressed in Hawaiian outfits and they put the
They
hats
did.
on and the leis and,
Yeah.
you know, raised the glasses and really made it look big budget.
And
That's
they
so
didn't,
cool.
and what's more impressive is they didn't know the story. They knew nothing about this project. They just knew that we were involved
Yeah.
and they were going to support us.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and-
Do you have to keep that a secret?
What?
What the storyline is for them before you bring them in?
No, no, we
They just
could've.
came to support.
They just showed up.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
because we were so deep into it. We didn't have time to message everybody and say, here's the story, this
Here's a
is your
breakdown,
character,
yeah.
here's
Yeah.
the breakdown. We just said, if you want to be in it, show up in a Hawaiian outfit.
Sometimes we just walked straight into a business and we're like, hey, can we shoot a scene here for the next 15 minutes? And they'd
We were
go,
like, okay.
okay, we'll sign this paper. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Do you want to be in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give us your logo, we'll put it in the credits. Okay.
I was gonna say like it's free marketing too. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
the most
it's
beautiful
much
thing.
good.
Anybody that would be smart on the business marketing side, you just want that anyway.
Hope
Yeah.
so, yeah, and there were a lot of people who did. So I think back to your original question, would we do this again? Yes, we'd like to do it again with a much bigger budget so that
I was going to say that.
everybody with a much bigger, not a micro budget,
A much bigger budget.
much bigger budget, so that we can make sure that everybody is compensated because they put their time in.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine. Like I was saying earlier about trying to navigate that. And I'm like building a budget is. How do you even build that budget? How do you get to the numbers? Because
Yeah.
there's always something that's going to happen that's unexpected. You know,
Yeah.
obviously you have that little nest egg.
Contingency,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it'd be so difficult. I would not
Well,
want to be in your shoes.
thank you for realizing that because you know most people who aren't in the industry side of the arts industry, like all they see is the final product and they go, oh well, I don't like it or whatever. But you know, there's a lot of things that go into actually making something. So if you see anything on TV, just applaud that it actually made it. You know, but budgets and the administration, as I said before, is just mind-numbing. It's not something I like to do, but unfortunately I'm good at it.
I'm so sorry.
I hate it.
So sorry.
I want to do the fun things. I want to create music and then just go
Yeah,
here. Like, no. But it took you a lifetime to write those songs. It's not
Yeah.
like you pulled them out of your butt.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah. But that's definitely is unfortunately a strong suit of yours, and that's
Unfortunately, honestly.
that's the grease that makes it happen, right?
Yeah, it's literally everybody I talk to, it's always like we want to do the fun thing, but nobody wants to do the hard work that's back here. And,
Yeah, I mean you
like,
get it. You
Yeah.
get it with
You
all
get
this
it,
stuff. This
yeah.
isn't just sitting down and having the conversation. That's
Well,
like that's
this
the
is
fun
hours
part.
of work and prep.
So much,
and
yeah.
So much, yeah.
I appreciate it, and you two, thank you for coming today because
Yeah.
I honestly I got more out of today. I learned so much. Like I've been
Awesome.
this project, and when we get off of here, I'm going to tell you about my project
Yeah.
and see how we can get involved together. Like
Oh,
Cool.
amazing.
I Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin. Thank you.
Appreciate
Great
it. Thank
interviewer.
you.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
Big thanks for this.
Thank you for doing round 2 with me.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
see you on the 8th.
You better check it.